Shalom and welcome. This episode will cover from Shem to Joktan, son of Eber. Our main goal is to follow the biological descendants of Eber. Here are three important questions we must ask ourselves. 1. What is the genome of early Semitic populations? 2. What modern Semitic populations are closest to Proto-Semitic populations? And 3. What ancient and modern Semitic populations is closest to Abraham? To answer these questions, let's read the scriptures.
Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth the elder, even to him were children born. The children of Shem, Elam and Asher and Arphaxad and Lud and Aram, and the children of Aram, Uz and Hul and Gether and Mash. And Arphaxad begat Salah, and Salah begat Eber. And unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. And Joktan begat Almodad and Sheleph, and Hazar-Maveth and Jerah, and Hadoram, and Uzal, and Diklah, and Obal, and Abimael, and Sheba, and Ophir, and Havilah, and Jobab. All these were the sons of Joktan. And their dwelling was from Mesha, as thou goest unto Sephar, a mount of the east. These are the sons of Shem, after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, after their nations.
Our focus will be on Joktan, son of Eber, since he is the brother of Peleg, whom Abraham will descend from. This makes Joktan and his sons and their descendants the closest ancient and ethnic relatives to Abraham, since Joktan existed a few generations before Abraham's birth. Therefore, this makes Joktan the prime example and best population to study. Therefore, let's begin. So where did Joktan and his descendants settle? According to Genesis chapter 10 verse 30, Joktan's descendants settled from Mesha to Sephar.
And unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. And Joktan begat Almodad and Sheleph, and Hazar-Maveth and Jerah, and Hadoram, and Uzal, and Diklah, and Obal, and Abimael, and Sheba, and Ophir, and Havilah, and Jobab. All these were the sons of Joktan. And their dwelling was from Mesha, as thou goest unto Sephar, a mount of the east.
Joktan's descendants settled from Mesha to Sephar. Where is Mesha? King Mesha was a king of Moab in the 9th century BCE, known most famously for having the Mesha stele inscribed and erected at Dibon. The Mesha stele named after the Moabite king who erected it. The Mesha stele, also known as the Moabite stone, is a stele dated around 840 BCE, containing a significant Canaanite inscription in the name of the king Mesha of Moab, a kingdom located in modern Jordan. According to the paper titled House of David, restored in Moabite inscription, it reads, the Mesha stele claims a 9th century BCE victory for the Moabite king Mesha over the Israelites. Mesha says he conquered Israelite territory east of the Jordan and humiliated the tribe of Gad. And according to the book titled The Languages of the Transjordan, it reads, Moabite is the best attested of the East Jordanian languages, thanks especially to the large famous inscription discovered in 1868 of King Mesha, more correctly, near modern-day Dibon. It was erected about 835 BCE to commemorate the liberation of Moab from the Israelite rule with the help of his god Chemosh, the national god of the Moabites, and the dedication of a mountain sanctuary as a sign of thanksgiving to his God. And according to the book Writing and Literacy in the World of Ancient Israel. It reads, the Misha Stele was erected in national Moabite territory and was intended to laud the Moabite king for his victories over Israel. There are many similarities between the language of the Moabite Stele and Old Hebrew and Phoenician. Thus, the Misha Stele is written in the Moabite language, a language that is similar to but different from Phoenician and Old Hebrew. And according to the book The Old Testament Between Theology and History, it reads, the Misha inscription is without doubt the most important monumental inscription found in Jordan or Palestine. Misha is located in Moab, modern-day Jordan, but Joktan descendants settled from Misha to Sephar. Where is Sephar? Sephar is an ancient Himmerite site situated in Yemen. Strong's 5611. Sephar, a place in southern Arabia. According to Britannica, Sephar, ancient site, Yemen. Sephar, biblical Sephar, classical Sephar, ancient Arabian site located southwest of Yarum in southern Yemen. According to the Biblical Encyclopedia by A.S. Fulton, it reads, Sephar, as the eastern limit of the territory of the sons of Joktan or Joktan, from the similarity between the names of most of Joktan's sons and the names of South Arabian towns or districts, it can hardly be doubted that Sephar is represented by the Arabic Khafar. And according to Smith's Bible Dictionary, it reads, it is written after the enumeration of the sons of Joktan. The Joktanites occupied the southwestern portion of the peninsula of Arabia. And according to Encyclopedia of the Bible, it reads, Sephar, the lands of Joktan are defined as extending from Misha as you go towards Sephar, the mountain of the east. Since the two related sites with plausible identifications, i.e. Hazarmoth and Sheba, are in South Arabia, Arabian sites are usually suggested. For example, Sephar in South Arabia or Sephari in Bahrain. Sephar, one limit of the territory in which descendants of Joktan resided. One suggested location is Sephar, once the capital of the Himmerite kings in Yemen, about 160 kilometers or 100 miles northeast of the southern end of the Red Sea. Sephar is located in modern-day Yemen of southern Arabia. Joktan descendants settled from Misha to Sephar, or basically from the Jordan to Yemen, or from the Levant to southern Arabia. This is very interesting because I covered how Semites have their origins in the Levant and that Shem likely settled the Levant after the flood. Now we see with Joktan's descendants, they settled from Misha, which is in Moab, modern-day Jordan, the Levant. This actually confirms that there was Semites in the Levant before Abraham arrived because Joktan and his descendants are many generations before Abraham was born. Now the second interesting detail about Joktan's descendants settling from Misha to Sephar is that this is basically telling you where Joktan came from and went to. If Joktan's descendants settled from Misha, which is Moab, modern-day Jordan in the Levant, to Sephar, modern-day Yemen in southern Arabia, this means Joktan, son of Eber, likely had his origins in the Levant and his descendants migrated from Misha in the Jordan to Sephar in Yemen. Joktan's migration fits perfectly with migration of Proto-Semitic populations in the Levant moving into the Arabian Peninsula and Yemen and even the Horn of Africa. This shows us two things. According to the paper titled Bayesian phylogenetic analysis of Semitic languages identifies an early Bronze Age origin of Semitic in the Near East. It reads, within South Semitic, the early emergence of a South Arabian lineage between approximately 3,300 and 6,250 YBP may reflect an early Bronze Age expansion of Semitic from the Levant southward to the Arabian Desert. The recurrent spread of early Semitic peoples and their languages into the steppe and desert lands of the Arabian Peninsula, combined with biblical testimony on early Hebrew subsistence, led us to propose that the earliest West Semitic society may have had a largely pastoralist economy, particularly adapted to such conditions. So as we can see from the chart of the actual paper, the Bayesian phylogenetic analysis of Semitic languages identifies an early Bronze Age origin of Semitic in the Near East. It actually shows us Semites migrating from the Levant into the Arabian Peninsula, and this oddly fits with the migration of Joktan's descendants from Mesha in the Levant of the Jordan into the Arabian Peninsula all the way to Yemen and Safar, and then eventually these Joktanites would even migrate into the Horn of Africa. Therefore, following the origin of Semitic languages and the homeland of Semites in the Levant and their migration patterns actually reflects biblical history. So both the archaeology and biblical testimony seems to line up. Here is a quick video that actually shows the migration of Semites from their homeland in the Levant into the Arabian Peninsula, which again fits perfectly with the Joktanites migrating from the Levant into the Arabian Peninsula. From what we've learned so far, these are two things I believe we can confirm. 1. Semites likely have their origins in the Levant, and 2. Joktan and his descendants seem to represent ancient Arabian populations before the birth of Ishmael. With that being said, let's learn about Joktan and his descendants. Who are Joktanites? There is an Arab tribe that Joktan was the progenitor of all the purest tribes of southern Arabia. Joktan has been identified with Quaqtan, the ancestral figure of Joktanites in traditional Arab genealogy. 3 of Joktan's descendants have connections to South Arabia. Sheba is identified with the ancient South Arabian kingdom of Saba. Hazarmaveth has been identified with the southern Arabian region of Hadramaut, and according to various biblical dictionaries, the name Hazarmeth means court of death, which reflects a meaning similar to the Arabic folk etymologies of the region. Hadoram, according to Rabbi Arya Kaplan, is interpreted as denoting the south, and it was a fortress to the south of Yemen's Siena. The terms Quaqtanite and Qatani refer to Arabs who originate from South Arabia. The term Quaqtan is mentioned in multiple ancient Arabian inscriptions found in Yemen. Arab traditions believe that they are the original Arabs. According to Britannica, people of Arabia ethnic groups According to tradition, Arabs are descendant from a southern Arabian ancestor, Joktun, forebearer of the pure or genuine Arabs, and a northern Arabian ancestor, Adnan, forebearer of the Arabized Arabs. According to Bible dictionaries, Easton's Bible Dictionary, it reads, Joktun, the second of the two sons of Eber. There is an Arab tradition that Joktun was the progenitor of all the purest tribes of central and southern Arabia. According to Encyclopedia of the Bible, Joktun, a son of Eber and a brother of Peleg, and from whom 13 tribes of Arabia sprang. It is said that his descendants lived from Mesha to Sephar. It is apparent that he was the ancestor of the older Arabian tribes. Joktun, a descendant of Eber, brother of Peleg, and father of 13 sons. The names of some of Joktun's descendants appear to have survived at various places in South and Southwest Arabia. It has been suggested that Joktun was the progenitor of the original peoples of Arabia, as distinguished from the tribes descended from the sons of Abraham by Hagar and Keturah. According to ATS Bible Dictionary, it reads, Joktun, son of Eber, and by him connected with the Hebrews and other Shemitic families. He is believed to be the Joktun or Joktun, to whom Arabian writers trace their purest and most ancient genealogies. Joktun, also known as Joktun, Joktun, and Joktun. Joktun's descendants are called Joktanites. There is an Arab tradition that Joktun was the ancestor and progenitor of all the purest Arabian tribes of central and southern Arabia. Joktun in Arabic literature bears the name Joktun. Joktun is described as the ancestor of several South Arabian tribes. In accordance to this statement, Arab genealogists hold Joktun to be the first king of Yemen, and his son and successor, Yarub, the first person who spoke Arabic. This is but the legendary form of the tradition that Joktun was the progenitor of the southern Arabs or Arabs proper. While the Ishmaelite Arabs were originally of non-Arab stock, but pretending to be Arabs, they adopted Arab customs and intermarried with genuine Arabs, being therefore called Musta-Arabs. Another son of Joktun was called Jarum, immigrated to northwest Arabia and founded a kingdom in the Hejaz. This tradition was probably invented at a later date in order to establish a close relationship between the northern and the southern Arabs, because it is added that Ishmael married a woman of the tribe of Jarum and became a member thereof. According to the book Antiquities, Biography, Geography, and Natural History, it reads, if the traditions of Joktun be rejected, they are, it must be remembered, immaterial to the fact that the peoples called by the Arabs descendants of Joktun are certainly Joktanites. His son's colonization of southern Arabia is proved by indistinguishable and indisputed identifications in the great kingdom which there existed for many ages before our era, and in later days was renowned in the world of classical antiquity, was as surely Joktanite. And according to the book Biography of the Prophets, it reads, as for the Arabs of the Arabah, they were the Arabs of Yemen, from the descendants of Joktun. And according to the book titled Arabs in the Shadow of Israel, it reads, the common view popularized by medieval Arab genealogists is that they originated in the southern part of the Arabian Peninsula and then moved northward. This view is largely based on the claim of Muslim Arab historians that their oldest ancestor is Joktun, whom they identify as the biblical Joktun in Genesis chapter 10, verse 25 through 26. It is fairly well known that Arab genealogists divided the Arabians into two ethnic stocks, the Arabian Arabs and the Arabized Arabs. The Arabian Arabs, according to this division, are the South Arabian stock associated with the Yemenites. They are descendant from Joktan, the form of the original stock. Genesis chapter 10 verse 25 through 26. So Joktanites, also known as Quaktan, Yoktan, or Koktan, are the pure or original Arabians. Joktanites were in Arabia before Ishmael, and Arabs of Ishmael were Arabicized. Basically, Joktanites are like true Arabians, an older population. The Joktanites also seem to have settled mostly in Yemen.